With us tonight in the studio is State Tax Commissioner Richard Levin. And the state of Ohio, you say, has been through a fairly massive reform process. What is this all about?
That's right. Over the past half-decade, we've reformed both the state business taxes and the taxes on individuals, and we've now implemented what's really the largest state tax cut in at least the last 70 years, and it's probably the largest state tax cut in this period across the whole country.
How is a tax cut possible at a time when government entities are struggling for survival?
Well, that's a good question. Now, it started before the recession began. The tax cuts have been phased in over 5 years, and towards the tail end of these phase-ins, the recession has hit. And what that's really meant is that we've had to tighten our belts again and again in terms of state spending, and there's just been a whole litany of programs that have been cut in the state budget, from state employees' salaries to the number of state employees, and on and on.
And you'd mentioned furloughs, which a lot of businesses have seen as well, so that's
right.
very familiar to us right now.
Right.
Tell us what individuals might notice about the changes in state taxes.
Well, individuals have been seeing the tax cuts actually year after year because we phased them in, so we're now to the point where all of the state income tax rates, no matter what bracket you're in, are 17% lower than they were when these cuts started in 2005. So it's a pretty large tax reduction across the board.
What about businesses?
Well, businesses have been a real focus of this because businesses are where the jobs come from. And Ohio has had two large business taxes that have now been totally repealed. A property tax on machinery and inventories that was really an obstacle to businesses investing here in our state. That tax is now gone. And we had a state tax on corporation profits. That tax is now gone. And we're actually one of only 2 states now in the whole country that taxes neither corporate profits nor property in machinery and inventories.
So is that enough incentive to bring new businesses into Ohio? Have we seen windfall from this yet?
Well, it's a little hard to see some of this windfall when some of it's happened at the same time as the worst recession that the country's been in since the 30s. But we have all kinds of wonderful statements from CEOs across the state on what the business reform has meant to their company and how they're investing more because of the reforms.
So it's helped with survival of existing businesses within the state, and I suppose maybe you'll see more of the growth and benefit later when we're not struggling so much.
Well, just as the reform took years to phase in, I think there's going to be long-term benefits over many, many years because we've really restructured the whole system in a way that's very positive for business investment in Ohio.
Okay. We only have a little bit more time, but give us an idea how Ohio is doing as a state. I mean, financially. Certainly, we're in a rough part of the country. We're very manufacturing-based, and we have a pretty high unemployment rate. But give us a little nutshell of the state of our state.
We're struggling. I mean, we're struggling like all of the country is struggling. Our unemployment rate is higher than it was 2 years ago. It's not as high as California or Michigan or our neighbor Illinois, pretty close neighbor. So, this is a national recession, and I think we're all feeling it. And we're going to make it out.
Okay, well, in the meantime, we'll just think about those lower than they used to be state taxes.
Okay,
Thank you
great.
so much.
You're
Richard
welcome.
Levin, State Tax Commissioner for Ohio. That's tonight's Talk Back.